Well, dear students, in the previous video, we talked about the technical communication and its multiple aspects. Now we uh, are going to focus on the very particular purpose of communication is to understand the exact purpose of the technical communication. For a successful technical communication, the writer, the scientist, the expert have to be crystal clear about its purpose. Number two, it must have researched all the topics, find the factual data, and likewise, technical communicators do adopt multiple techniques, multiple strategies, multiple ways to reach on to the exact purpose and at the ease of the uh, at the ease of the their audience. Fine. So technical communication formats and styles are different in the different uh, subjects. For example, the students of computer sciences adopt a different way, whereas finance department people working in a banking sector, they are different. A biologist working on the vaccine of the different viruses is different. So the methods of extracting, accumulating, and communicating the information to the audience is not the same. Fine, let's read this excerpt. All technical communication serves a particular purpose. I mean, technical communication is always purposeful, typically to communicate ideas and concept to an audience. An audience is always specific. For example, a a computer professional's audience is always the people interested in computer. So no person is interested. I mean, a doctor, a biologist is not interested in networking and others because all the books, because that is not his field. All the book and content which has been produced specifically for the students of computer sciences is not likely to be welcomed and understood or choiced by the biologist. Fine. Going next, or direct an audience in a particular task. Clear? I mean, direction is also the purpose. Technical communication professional use various techniques to understand the audience and, when possible, test content on the target audience. I mean, they compose that content and then they test and evaluate. For example, if bank workers don't properly post deposits, a technical communicator would, number one, review existing documentation or lack thereof. For example, this case is this, that if the employees or staff in a certain bank, for example, the Punjab Bank here in university branch is not well depositing all the concepts in all the information properly. Uh, the person researching and finding and writing about the reports would review the existing documentation, that whatever the documentation has already been made by them, he would review them. Number two, interview bank workers to identify conceptual errors. So here he's using the strategy, format, instrument of interview. Interview is another way the finding information, live information, and you have used seen that the people of the various fields, especially in media, they use the strategy of the interviews. Interview subject matter experts to learn the concept, to learn the correct procedures. Fine. Another way is to interview, to discuss, to make discussions with the experts about the very project to reach the solution. Author new material that describes the correct procedures. Thereafter, after having alienated in the wrong and flaws and indecorum in the uh, already documented procedure. Uh, they rewrite it according to the developed form and format. Test the new material on the bank workers, and finally, it will be tested for the new bank workers. Fine. And there are certain other things. Let's read this. For technical communication, they the writers keep in mind the need of the communication. Fine. And accordingly, they select the words. Mean what type of the word? Mean it should be time new romans, veranda, or whatsoever. Graphics are used. Clear. Style means what mode of the verb should be adopted. Clear. According to the particular audience. Let's, for example, you have seen that the instruction manuals are designed for the general public using different household gadgets like uh, machines and mobile phones, and uh, likewise they use uh, say electric oven. Fine. So there you find a list of drawings and writings, and very precise easy words are written for the non technical audience so that they maybe understand it properly. And second is, they our non technical audience might misunderstand or not even read a document that is heavy with jargons. This is very specific point, that in technical information, although is communicated to the non-technical audience, yet the very technical terms and high prolific definitions are excluded, and they are replaced with the easy words so that their audience may not encrypt, or they may not be troubled by those heavy jargons and expressions. Fine. They use headings. Clear. They use different kind of bullets to make their document easier and understood. Here, how to accomplish something parts of an object. This is a, a, a concept that, for example, you are a computer professional and you have to write about the software, the different parts, the GUI, and web servers and connectivity and this and that. And also you have to talk and explain the hardware of the computers and hardware of the different cell phones and media and other things. Thereby, this is related to the concept of the description of mechanism, that science normally the technical writers have to explain the mechanism. Thereby, in order to explain the mechanism, for example, you are going to use computer, explain computer. Thereby, you have to explain keyboard, monitor, mouse. Clear. And similarly, what keyboard, different parts of the keyboard, monitor, parts of monitor, mouse, and how these things are connected. Each and everything is uh, included in technical and business writing. Second is, outlines are made that has already been expressed in detail. Here are some other credentials about the technical writers, that how technical writers can bring clarity into their style and make easier communication to their audience. They have to use the following things, or they can use the following thing more precisely. Number one, headings, that they should give headings to the proper portions of their document, a long document. Fine. Lists, they should provide the lists in bullets. Mean you are performing certain steps, you can write put it here, drag it, place it, scrap it, paste it. Fine. Graphics are used. Graphical representation in science is more important, is more logical, is more lucid than the general abstract oral presentations, because oral presentations don't make any strong vision in the mind, and that doesn't work well with the semantics. But the graphical representations are more important. Therefore, you are advised to express your content more in form of DFDs and graphs and diagrams. Generous white space, short sentences, clear. You should not make your uh, document much wordy, mean putting more and more sentences. It should be less sentences, more graphics, short sentences. And the other thing is, use the present tense, because science is always used in the present, because the past tense is used for narratives and stories. And active voice active voice is preferred, because in science we have to directly express ourselves. Second and third person as required. Try to use the second and third person if you ever require it. Read this concept. Technical writing as a discipline usually requires that a technical writer use a style guide. These guides may relate to specific projects. I mean, every project has its own style of writing. For example, people working on geography, marine sciences, in some biology, plants, they use a different style, but the people of the computer are different. Fine. So these things, these points make difference. Specific projects, product, according to the product, company or brand. So every product, company or brand requires its own specific style and procedure, and the report writing format, and the writer have to follow this. They ensure that the technical writing reflects formatting, proper formatting. We have already explained it. Proper punctuation. This is very important point, because most of the people are not well aware of the punctuation, and general stylistic standards that the audience expects. Thank you very much.